Hey guys, on today's episode, we're heading to McLaren, North Jersey to detail the McLaren Elva, the one with no windshield, crazy looking car. Plus, I just found out we're gonna be doing the McLaren Senna GTR, the ultimate McLaren track car. I am bouncing off the walls. That and a whole lot more in this episode of Drive and Protect. When I arrived at McLaren North Jersey, I toured the showroom and saw the sickest 765 LT color combo. This thing was just stunning. I fell in love with that car. Anyhow, I was there to meet up with my longtime friend, Allan Greenfield. He's the sales manager for McLaren, to sort of get a plan for both the GTR and the Elva detail. After a few minutes of just drooling on the yellow 720S and all the other cars inside, we loaded up and drove over to Motorcar Manor, where both of the cars are stored. Like, what's the business here?
Storage. Morning.
Oh. Good morning. Inside is a huge warehouse of cars everywhere, ranging from Lamborghinis all the way to car haulers. I'm looking for one of these the worst way. This has like a weird aura. Like, it feels like a presidential car. Like. For a full tour, subscribe to the Ammo Studio channel for the behind-the-scenes footage from all of our episodes, including this one here, with an interview and guided tour from the owner himself. Turbo, great color. Another turbo.
I believe it's Zanzibar.
In one of the next rooms, both the Elva and the Senna GTR were getting situated in the designated wash area. The McLaren Senna is a very limited production mid-engine rear-wheel drive sports car with approximately 500 vehicles being manufactured. It produces 789 horsepower, 590 foot-pounds of torque from a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 with a 7-speed dual clutch. This car, of course, was named after the famous Brazilian F1 race car driver Ayrton Senna as a tribute to his wins while driving for the McLaren F1 team from 1988 to 1993, winning 3 World Drivers' Championships and 35 F1 races up until his tragic death on May 1st, 1994 at the Imola circuit in Italy. The vehicle we're working on today is a McLaren Senna GTR, which is basically a faster and more agile version of its road-going counterpart and proudly displays the Brazilian flag on each side, which is a super cool feature. This was designed to be the fastest non-Formula One vehicle McLaren has ever created. It has 814 horsepower, which is 25 more than the original Senna, wider front and rear fenders, racing slicks, tons of aero, revised suspension, and bigger diffusers, just to name a few of the upgrades. There's only 75 of these being made, and this one is looking for a new home, so a fresh detail before it starts its car show circuit is in order. At first glance, it's in pretty good shape for sure, but under the paint lights, you can see that it does need some paint correction from swirls, tick marks, water spots, and some smudges commonly found on race cars. Step 1 is pretty easy. It's a preliminary rinse. Next, I soaked the wheels and body with foam and allowed a few minutes of dwell time. Now, to be able to get 2 highly intricate and crazy expensive cars done in one day before the show, I called in my buddies Renan and Dan to help with this project. And while I was foaming the paint, Renan was filling up the buckets with soap and putting tools and towels in there. Brute wheel soap is actually being used in the wheel bucket, while Ammo foam soap is being used as foam for Dan and I to wash with microfiber wash towels. For the seams, we used an interior brush to dislodge anything that may be missed or hidden inside the tight spots, then power washed once again. After the healthy wash, we dried with compressed air and a warm air mover we borrowed from Motorcar Manor. If you are ever going to use compressed air, or moving air in this case, this is the car to do it on. There are so many areas where water gets trapped, it's crazy, so we spent a lot of time flushing out all the seams. All right, at this point in the process, we've cleaned and dried the paint, and it actually looks really good. The next step, of course, is to polish, but this is where you sort of need to step back and think, okay, what are the things that are best for this car, meaning do no harm to it? Right off the bat, it's a race car, so it's gonna have really thin paint, and 2, we can't measure it. So it's likely I'm gonna do a 1-step polish, sort of bring back, rejuvenate the paint before we put a coating or a wax on top of it. And then from a 10,000-foot view of the detailing perspective, we're really just framing this vehicle so it looks beautiful when it goes out to its next show. To do the tight spots, we're using a battery-powered Rupes Nano, especially because we're not at the studio with all the tools and the equipment and the extension cords, etc. The Nano was fitted with an extension for 1-inch rotary work when needed, but beforehand Dan and I polished the larger areas with a 6-inch foam pad and polish, while Renan worked the rims by hand with yellow polish and a microfiber towel. Along the edges right here, you can see some common sanding marks, so instead of using the larger 5 or 6-inch polisher, the 1-inch Nano setup was used for precise correction, and it can come in super handy. Now, if there was ever a car on the planet that required every different size tool, this is it for sure. A 6, a 5, a 3, and definitely a bunch of 1s. On the rear quarter panel, there was a random dot of something super hard and stuck to the paint, and it didn't want to come off with a plastic razor blade, a 1-inch rotary, chemicals. It just wasn't budging. So we block sanded it with 3000 grit until it was mechanically leveled and removed. Then we polished away with the 1-inch polisher once again. After the polishing was complete, we wiped the paint down with an ISO mixture to remove the polishing oils left behind before applying Reflex Pro coating to the surface. I applied while Dan and Renan removed. Next, I repeated the same steps, but this time on the wheels with Gelée Pro coating to make future cleaning much easier. While we were waiting for the coatings to cure, we cleaned the glass, and specifically the door glass, which is one of my favorite features of the Senna. Absolutely amazing to be able to see the ground while you're driving. Super cool. Anyways, afterwards, the interior was wiped down gently, but overall, the inside was in great shape. Hey man.
Larry.
What do you think, bro?
Dude, this thing looks phenomenal.
Crazy, right?
Oh, it's amazing. The paint is like, it just pops. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
the Elva behind you.
Yes, let's take a look at this thing. This thing's
So,
crazy.
McLaren Elva, 149 of them produced globally. No glass, no roof, complete open cockpit.
I see that there's a bin here too. It's kinda
Yeah, so actually, unlike some other open cockpit supercars that are available, this you can actually register.
cool. Really?
Yeah, so it's road legal. You don't have to bring it in under show and display.
Wow.
Full visual carbon fiber, which is a $225,000 option.
Wow.
And then the badging front and rear is actually gold plated, so that's a $58,000 option as well.
That is just unbelievable. It looks like a gold bar.
Yeah, it's pretty unique.
It
And
looks,
available if you know.
Oh, both of these are for sale, obviously.
Both available for sale, brand new, delivery miles.
Unbelievable. But I see that there's clear bra on it, and what do you say, like 60, 70 miles, whatever, 80 miles on this
Yep,
thing?
yeah.
It looks relatively clean. The problem is, it's a little too clean. Are you down with going for a quick ride?
Yeah, definitely. Let's go.
Let's go for a ride. One more. Go back and over here. Turn the wheel. They don't have to think. They go like this. And stop. Let's end glasses. Crazy wheel.
And
We're
when
gonna pull it. This is ridiculous. You can hear the airbox like. Mark that off the list of things to do in my life. Once back at Motorcar Manor, the game plan was pretty simple. Frothy wash and then wax application over the clear bra to get it ready for tomorrow's show. The McLaren Elva is, again, a limited production mid-engine sports car inspired by the open-top race cars developed by Bruce McLaren in the 1960s. This has 804 horsepower from a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 and 7-speed dual-clutch, same as the GTR, but just with a little bit less horsepower, as well as exposed carbon fiber and gold emblems, making this particular car priced just over $2 million. For our next step, Dan added approximately 4 ounces of frothy concentrate to 40 ounces of water inside the aerator, while I power washed the wheels and the super low areas on the car. As I've said before, if you have access to water, then you should definitely use it. In our case, we just avoided using the pressure washer on all of the car for very obvious open top reasons. To use frothy on the top areas, spray it on the area that you're working first, then wipe it clean with a microfiber towel. Afterwards, you can follow up with ammo hydrate drying aid to remove the remaining streaks and lubrication. This way of cleaning is incredibly popular for apartment dwellers, drought areas, winter months, etc. And for those of you with a $2 million open-top carbon fiber supercar, all 149 of you. Anyhow, I dried the paint with Hydrate Pro, which has extra protection in it, and when we were done, the paint was clean and dry and looked spectacular. As a last step, I added Blush Pro paste wax with ceramic additives for longer lasting protection, but with that same desirable wet look from the Brazilian Carnauba wax mixture inside. On the wheels, I added Gelée Pro to make cleaning ridiculously easy, especially with the carbon ceramic brakes. All you're going to need to do is a quick power wash. It's all you need after a drive in the future, and you're good to go. Once all the wax and the wheel coatings were removed, the Elva looked stunning. The exposed carbon fiber just pops with blush on it. I went for a ride in the Elva, and my hair's all messed up. Lastly, I quickly wiped down the interior after our drive and all of my drool spots everywhere, while Renan lightly applied dressing to the tires before the show. With both cars ready to go to the Hamptons in the morning, Allan asked if we could apply the ammo sticker to the GTR, which was a massive honor for me. Right behind the driver's door on the carbon fiber. Honestly, it was a dream come true, and it meant a lot to me. Oh. Well, guys, we're all done, and both McLarens look absolutely amazing. The Senna GTR, and of course, the McLaren Elva. This thing, the ride was unbelievable. The detail is even better. These cars are amazing. They're going out to a show tomorrow, so we prepped them tonight. They're getting on the truck in a little bit. Speaking of that, hopefully after the show, they're gonna go to a new home. If you're interested in buying these, you're gonna contact my guy, Allan, at McLarenNorthJersey.com. This was a massive pleasure. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. If you are interested in taking them home, visit. Guys, we're all set. The McLaren GTR, it's not GTR, Senna, and the McLaren Elva are done, and I said done twice. Tired. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.